I facilitated a business networking course this week on making connections post-pandemic. It made me consider the nature of connecting, why we do it, and what we get from it. If the purpose of networking is intentional relationship building, what stops us from doing it all the time? After all, as social animals, we're hardwired to connect. Networking is an exchange between two people, not a one-way street. So often we get caught up in delivering our elevator pitch that we forget the reason we're doing it, to make connections to facilitate our work. Contrary to social media belief, the more connections isn't necessarily the better. If I have 500 LinkedIn connections and I know nothing about 498 of them, I can't do much with that. I can just recite the stats. If I know something about Jane that's memorable, we can connect again on that topic. Dan Pink discusses the power of self-disclosure in his book, The Power of Regret. Study participants were given 3 options. They could talk about themselves, they could listen to someone else talk about themselves and provide a judgment on it, or they could answer a trivia question. Various monetary inducements were given to drive different answers, but the results were unequivocal. When given the choice, people always chose option 1, self-disclosure. In other words, people love to talk about themselves. Self-disclosure provides physical, behavioral, and neurological benefits. For example, it decreases our blood pressure. It increases our coping skills. I discovered that self-disclosure builds affinity, not judgment. It makes us realize we're all in this together and we can learn from each other's mistakes and successes. Don't you find it helpful to hear about someone else's mistake and how they handled it? It's like being given a blueprint that you can choose to follow or not, depending on your perspective on it. Connecting with others feels good. It moves us up the emotional guidance scale. At the higher rungs of the ladder, we project a different energy to others, certainly a more positive one, that makes others want to be around us. Neurologically, mirror neurons allow us to learn through imitation. When we feel good by connecting, our mirror neurons signal to the other person's mirror neurons, creating a positive, virtuous cycle. By intentionally building connections, we feel seen and heard. So, listen carefully, the way you'd like to be heard. As Stephen Covey says, seek first to understand, then to be understood. For more on listening, click the link I've provided in my notes below. Fear, plain and simple. We fear being vulnerable, being laughed at, being the center of attention, putting ourselves out there, saying the wrong thing. Surmount fear by remembering we don't need to eliminate it to move forward. We can choose differently. Choose courage. Take a chance. Be curious. Authentic connection happens by asking questions, demonstrating interest, and expressing openness. No tricks or magic required here. Approach networking in this manner, and you'll see great results.